I would like to talk today about what I think is one of the greatest adventures human beings have embarked upon, which is the quest to understand the universe and our place in it. My own interest in this subject and my passion for it began rather accidentally. I had bought a copy of this book, The Universe and Dr. Einstein, a used paperback from a second-hand bookstore in Seattle. A few years after that, in Bangalore, I was finding it hard to fall asleep one night, and I picked up this book thinking it would put me to sleep in 10 minutes. And as it happened, I read it from midnight to 5 in the morning in one shot. And I was left with this intense feeling of awe and exhilaration at the universe and our own ability to understand as much as we do. And that feeling hasn't left me yet. That feeling was the trigger for me to actually change my career from being a software engineer to become a science writer, so that I could partake in the joy of science and also the joy of communicating it to others. And that feeling also led me to a pilgrimage of sorts, to go literally to the ends of the earth, to see telescopes, detectors, instruments that people are building or have built in order to probe the cosmos in greater and greater detail. And so it took me from places like Chile, the Atacama Desert in Chile, to Siberia, to underground mines in the Japanese Alps in Northern America, all the way to Antarctica and even to the South Pole. And today I would like to share with you some images, some stories of these trips. I have been basically spending the last few years documenting the efforts of some extremely intrepid men and women who are putting literally at times their lives at stake, working in some very remote and very hostile places so that they may gather the faintest signals from the cosmos in order for us to understand this universe. And I first begin with a pie chart, and I promise this is the only pie chart in the whole presentation, but it sets up the state of our knowledge of the cosmos. All the theories in physics that we have today properly explain what is called normal matter, the stuff that we are all made of, and that's 4% of the universe. Astronomers and cosmologists and physicists think that there is something called dark matter in the universe, which makes up 23% of the universe, and something called dark energy, which permeates the fabric of space-time, that makes up another 73%. So if you look at this pie chart, 96% of the universe at this point in our exploration of it is unknown or not well understood. And most of the experiments, telescopes that I went to see are in some way addressing this question, these two twin mysteries of dark matter and dark energy. I will take you first to an underground mine in northern Minnesota where people are looking for something called dark matter. And the idea here is that they're looking for the sign of a dark matter particle hitting one of their detectors. And the reason why they have to go underground is that if you did this experiment on the surface of the Earth, the same experiment would be swamped by signals that would be created by things like cosmic rays, ambient radioactivity. Even our own bodies, you might not believe it, but even our own bodies are radioactive enough to disturb this experiment. So they go deep inside mines to find a kind of environmental silence that will allow them to hear the ping of a dark matter particle hitting their detector. And I went to see one of these experiments, and this is actually, you can barely see it, and the reason for that is it's entirely dark in there. This is a cavern that was left behind by the miners who left this mine in 1960, and physicists came and started using it sometime in the 1980s. And the miners in the early part of the last century worked literally in candlelight. And today, you would see this inside